Triangles. There are so many forms of triangles out there that I'd like to call these ones arm-to-arm triangles because they go across both your arms and they are axisymmetrical, reflected by your center line. I just showed you 4 different ways how to get into this kind of triangles, and each of these ways led to a slightly different form of the triangle. At first sight, you won't notice much of a difference. They all have in common there's a horizontal line across your chest and diagonal lines along your arms. But even if they look very much the same, they offer slightly different options for transitions into other moves, and that's why I recommend to learn them all. There are 2 points where they are different. One is the horizontal line. It can go from the chest over the arms. This one I would like to call the overarm triangle. And it can go from the chest under the armpit and then over the arm for the diagonal lines. That one I like to call the underarm triangle. The second difference is how you end up here at the third angle of the triangle. If you go up or down, you can end up with crossed ends, like in this one. So the handle end and the fiber end are crossed when you're finished. And you can end up with open ends. So here's a gap. If you don't hold your fingers close together, there's a gap here, and you can open them really easily without having to re-grab them. As I said, the different forms offer options for different transitions. Just to give you an example, if you want to go from this triangle into this kind of arm curl diamond and open up into this kind of arm curls, you need an underarm triangle. If you try the same thing with the triangle where the horizontal line goes over the arm and you raise that above your head, you end up in something else. So that's the reason why I recommend to learn all of the variations when they have all the options for possible transitions. Now, step by step, how to do this. I'm starting with the overarm triangle with crossed ends. Take your handle and the handle on the surface side, hold your whip like this, thumbs facing each other, and then you start to flip your whip around the surface side arm in a forwards motion. It's like this. You come from here, from underneath, whip goes down, up from behind to here. You see that there's a space between your arm and the whip, and you hold this space upwards or slide forwards. And if you focus on the handle hand, this hand continues its way all around the opposite elbow, and you see that the fiber hand is coming through in the middle. A rather loose grip that the fibers can slide through the hand, and then you pull into shape, and they are in the triangle. You see it goes over from the horizontal line, over the chest, over the arm, and then around the arm, coming from your armpit to the diagonal lines, and you end up here with crossed ends. Once again, you flip around, continue over the opposite elbow. Fiber hand is coming through in the middle, and pull into shape, and there you are. If you do this very loose, you can do it just in one big circling motion and right into the triangle. Same thing for the other hand. Hold your whip like this, then flip the whip in forwards motion over the arm to create this space here between your forearm and the whip. The hand continues its pathway across the opposite elbow. The fiber hand is coming through in the middle, pull tight, and you're in the triangle. Once again here, flip over, go over the opposite elbow, fiber hand coming through in the middle, and oops, pull into shape. That's already it. You can also involve your fiber hand more and focus more on that. You start the same way again here, first on the surface side, so you flip your whip around until you create this space between your arm and the whip. Then you can stay here with your arm, you can fold it more in front of your body, but stop somewhere on the way to the opposite elbow, and then the fiber hand takes over and it tunnels this space until the elbow comes through, and then you pull into shape from there. You can also exaggerate as you can, just create the space and really, with a large movement, tunnel there and pull into space. You could even do this with a turn. Again, here handling on the surface side, you're flipping around in a forwards motion. You have the space here between your arm and the whip, and then with a turn, tunnel this space and pull into the triangle. Same thing for the other side. Flip your rib around in a forwards motion, this space above your arm, and somewhere on this way you stop with this arm on the way to the opposite elbow, and the fiber hand takes over, tunnels this space and pulls into shape. Once again, flipping over, tunneling the space and pulling into shape. Or even exaggerate it and doing the turn, flip over, tunnel here and pull into shape. So much for the overarm triangle with crossed ends. Same thing for the underarm triangle. What changes is the flipping motion. We just had flipping forwards, and for the other one you flip backwards. So you have this this space between the whip and your arm under the arm. So from the front over the arm until the whip hangs down, and again the hand goes all the way to the opposite elbow, all around the elbow here. The fiber hand is coming through in the middle, you pull into shape, and again you see you end up with crossed ends, but this time you have the horizontal line going from your chest under the armpit, then over the arm for the diagonal lines. Once again, flipping backwards, going all the way around to the opposite elbow, fiber hand coming through in the middle, falling into shape. Same thing for the other hand. Flipping backwards to create this space, to create this space here under the arm. Then the arm continues its way around the opposite elbow, fiber hand is coming through in the middle. You're pulling into shape, and you're in the underarm triangle. Once again, flip over, come over. There you are. For this one you can also focus more on the fiber hand. Same thing, you flip over, you got the space here, and somewhere on the way to the opposite elbow. You stop and the fiber hand takes over. Tunnels the space, which is this time under the arm, and you pull into shape. Or you exaggerate, do it in a large movement, or even with a turn. There you go. Same thing for the other hand, flipping over, stopping somewhere on the way to the opposite elbow, fiber hand tunnels this space, and pull into the triangle. Here, like so. Or even with a turn, you're flipping backwards, and then with a turn, tunnel this space and pull into the triangle. These were the two triangles with crossed ends, and now we do the two triangles with open ends. Again, start here with your handle on the surface side, and I start with the underarm triangle. What you actually do is to switch the order of the motions we just had. We had this flipping motion around the one arm and then going over on the shoulder of the opposite arm. And now we start tracing over the opposite arm. So from here, hold your whip like this, and the handle goes over to the opposite arm, Then tracing back to its own side, you let the fiber slide through this hand. Do a bit loose that you have enough space to do this forward swooping motion again. And then you bring your hands together and pull your triangle into shape. And you see the hands are open. You can open just without re-grabbing the fibers, and you have this horizontal line going under the armpit. Once again, trace over the opposite arm, back to the outside, and then flip in the forwards motion. Bring your hands together, fold them down, fold them up as you like. Same thing for the other hand. So from the dragon tree side, start tracing over the opposite elbow, back to the other side. Let your fibers slide through really loose until you're at the point here that you can flip in a forwards motion. Bring your hands together and fold up or down into the triangle. Once again here, tracing over the opposite elbow, going back here, flipping forwards into this triangle. And the other one, just the other way around. Again, we're starting here with the hand on the surface side. This time you trace around the opposite elbow from below, going down here. And that flipping motion is a little bit tricky here. I'm cheating always when I do this, so I hold the fibers, the horizontal line with 2 fingers to manage here the flipping backwards motion. And then you bring your hands together, pull it into shape, and here you got the triangle with the open end and the horizontal line going over your arms. Once again, tracing around the opposite shoulder from below all the way to here, rather long that you have enough space for the flipping motion. Anchor here a little bit, that makes it easier. You go around the arm to here, bring your hands together and fold down, up, or whatever you like. Other hand, start to trace around the opposite elbow from below, go back to the other side. Here you cheat a little, you hold the fibers a bit, then you can flip around in this backwards motion to here, bring your hands together and pull into shape. Once again, go around the opposite elbow, back to here, flipping backwards, and there you are. That's it. These are the 4 basic forms of arm-to-arm triangles, as I call them. For the first motion, this flipping forwards or flipping backwards, there are actually a few other movement variations how to get into this position, but I do an extra tutorial on those, so I don't confuse you too much in this first tutorial on triangles.